Hi everyone, welcome back to Ngopi, Ngobrol Penuh Inspirasi podcast. Today we are diving into a topic that's honestly changing faster than we can keep it up. Effective Learning 5.0. But instead of just talking theories, we've got a very special guest to give us a fresh perspective. By the way, my name is Salwa and I'm going to be the host for today. We have May here as an international student all the way from Myanmar. Hi, May. Thank you so much for joining us. How are
Hi,
you?
yes, also, yes, here everything's great. So how are you?
I'm also good. Okay,
Yeah,
before we get into the technology and study hacks, tell us the origin story. How did the journey from Myanmar lead you all the way to Sampoerna University here in Indonesia?
yes. Firstly, thank you for this podcast. My name is May. I come from Myanmar. Now I'm studying English language education in at Sampoerna University. Yes. Uh, so your question is, what did you say? Actually, I
How
couldn't hear.
was your journey coming from Myanmar to Indonesia? Is it
Yes.
Indonesia your first plan or just a specific aha moment that made you choose to come to Indo?
Yes, actually, my education journey is a bit challenging and also long. Back in Myanmar, I attended the university. I have already done like 3 or 4 years back in Myanmar, uh, but in Myanmar, there were political intense, like at military coup. So at that time, I couldn't continue my bachelor degree, and at the time there were like scholarship opportunities that offered by USAID, DISV scholarship. Yes, so I applied for the scholarship, and in that scholarship is like support for like Sampoerna University to study English language education. So I was thinking like I have experience in teaching at that time, and also I'm very interested in education and being an educator and being an affected teacher. So that's why I tried to apply for the scholarship, and I got selected luckily, and then that's the way I came here. Yes.
That's actually very nice because you're coming here in Indonesia, looking at the politics problems in Myanmar, and
Mm,
then you planning to do the scholarship, and then you get it. And right now you are here in Indonesia. And
yes.
honestly, talking about your first time walking into the classroom, what was the immediate wait? This isn't like my home country. What was your first impressions in Indonesia?
Yes, then to talk about Indonesia, I have to go back to the education system in Myanmar. Yes, mostly in my country is just about we have like I must divide into two category. One is about the high school. Like during our high school, we have to learn mostly by memorization. Yes, of course, teachers teach, but the thing is we don't have the enough resources. For example, we don't have like most of the public schools, they can provide like computers and then about that technology thing. So that's one of the problems that happening in my country. So that is about the like high school. It's mostly go with the like memorization, and then it's like forcing to finish things instead of like thinking critically. And but in the university, yes, we have to do lots of tests, but difference is here like Indonesia, I think in most of the countries will be the same, like is if we have passed, if we want to finish a semester, or like if we want to like pass a year, right, we have to do lots of assignments and then projects, right? So I think that the assessment system could be different based on the subjects and also like that the lecturers preference. But in Myanmar, it's mostly like one standard form, which is the written assessment. So which means that like yes, you have to learn, the teacher will teach and you take notes, and mostly but to pass exam, so you must take the written assessment, so which is like they give like 3 hours for the assessment, and you write down what you learn and what you memorize, so stuff like that. It actually is also pretty challenging for me because I don't want to study in this way. So, but anyway, that's our my country's assessment system. So I have to memorize and learn and take the like written test. But in Indonesia, also in other countries, is also like based on the uh, university and also like lecturers preference. Like they can we can do the like assignment, or like we can do the project like to pass a semester. I think that is pretty more interesting and also like more relaxing to do that, because we don't need to memorize all the time. Written tests, they are like kind of challenging for me, but for the assignment and group work, like that's okay. I think that would be like main difference between Indonesia and Myanmar, from what I learned.
Okay, so hearing your story, I could see maybe like the similarity between Indonesia and Myanmar. Not saying that in Indonesia we're not memorizing, but we are more deeper into doing the project, not just talking about the textbook. So I think like we as a student can explore more than just a textbook. I think that's what maybe hearing your story a little bit different from that. Okay, so it's always fascinating to see how different countries approach education. I
Mm.
want to know what was your biggest culture shock for you academically in Indonesia? Was it like the workload or the way the professor talk or something else entirely?
Mm, just for regarding the academic, for the cultural shock, I must think, but because like the biggest one is, as I said before, is assessment system, not the same with the like with my country. So another thing would be that just kind of the like teaching system, like teaching style. But from what I face in Myanmar is mostly about the teacher talking time, mostly about in this way, but like they have like clear lesson plan and objective that they want to teach, and mostly they deliver step by step and explain in detail. But here it's not like that. It's mostly about you have to read that text and you have to do that, and then and then without even notice it became the midterm and then final exam. I feel like sometimes if I didn't read, if I didn't have the chance to read them, it's just like I don't know anything, but it's kind of forcing to study in my own way, right? Instead of like teacher explaining the lesson. But for this one, I think I prefer like teacher teaching, because sometimes I don't have the time, and sometimes there were like gaps I teacher need to bridge, like to get the like some kind of the understanding, instead of us reading alone on our own. So I think that would be the like biggest culture shock. Like teaching style is not the same. Like in Myanmar, it's mostly going like teacher explaining in detail and giving the instruction and like doing step by step, instead of like giving us to read. Okay, so you must read this one in this way, and not like that, like explaining and then scaffolding, like more scaffolding. But like here, it's not like that. Okay, so you have to read that. Okay, next week we will discuss this one in the class, and we'll do the like kind of group project. But at the time, sometimes if I don't have the time, I need to use like some kind of AI assistant to get what is done. Yeah, that is kind of the, how can I say, difference regarding the academic. Yes.
Okay, so okay, I see from your story, maybe we are here in Indonesia have our own responsibility to do the task. So the
Mm,
lecturer will give you like whatever you want to do, you have to know what the subject about. And
mm,
if it's in Myanmar, it is more like, oh, the lecturer will give you a step by step how to do this and how to do that. So
mm.
maybe in the midterm you will know better the subject.
Yes.
So by which one would you prefer the style in Myanmar?
Honestly, yes, like both kind has like its own pros and cons. But for my preference, I prefer like teacher explaining, like because uh sometimes I feel like although I have to read tests, like they're very long. Maybe like sometimes they just give the book, textbook, or like the whole topic, and it's too long to finish like within my limited time. So I couldn't understand and feel like that. So instead of that, teacher should do more scaffolding, right? So explaining more about that, maybe to talk about essential things, and then to ask maybe personally like how you understand what you do, and then also that some concepts. So I prefer with the like teacher like giving not in detail, but like maybe more scaffolding and then more support. I think that would be great.
Okay, so do you think it is also because the language barrier? Do you think that also the problems or no?
No, I don't think so. But language is the only problem. Like maybe the distance time. Maybe I'm not very familiar with that. So that's why maybe that might be kind of a problem for me. But like yes, I think that's like lecturers. They will prefer teaching style. They just uh, give the assignment and they just do that. In the class, it's mostly about like just they explain maybe a little bit, and then okay, you have to you must do that project in the class, but without knowing, without having like enough information, and without getting the concept, is very hard to do the like project within the limited time, and also like to finish in the like meaningful way. So that's why yes, I think it doesn't only about the language barrier, it's also about maybe the teaching style, different teaching
O-
style. Yes.
Okay, so maybe I also relate to you when it comes to education Indonesia.
Mm,
The lecturer will give you will like explain for about 10 minutes, and then they already told, okay, you do this with your own group. I relate to that.
yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about the buzzword of the year, talking about effective learning 5.0. In a world where everything is automated, what does effective learning means to you?
Yes, for effective learning, I think everybody might have like their own definition, but for me, it's about human center and also like using the technology. As you said, in this era, right, in this nowadays, technology is developing day by day, right? So not just only technology, we also need to learn how to communicate and how to be a good leader and how to think critically, not just only the like technical terms or not just only the subject. We also need to learn about the soft skills, like to be an effective learner, because maybe like yes, you graduated, if you don't have any soft skills such as good communication, leadership, and also like think critically, adaptability, like there are many soft skills. If you don't have this ability, it would be very hard to adjust and adapt like with other people. Maybe they might be your boss, or like they might be your employer, they might be your colleague. Like so to be effective learning community or like effective learning uh style, it's very important to have like soft skill and also just hard skill. So it need to combine both hard skill and soft skill, like to be the like good learning community.
Okay, also adding to that, that we are as a student must be very adaptable,
Mm,
not only for the environment but also for the technology itself. Because right now we are growing more and more, faster and faster. Now you are in your English major in 2026 with so much AI translating in real time. You could use like Google Translate and so on. Some people might ask you why you want to study English, and then what's
yes.
your answer?
Yes, it's true that like technology is developing, and sometimes even at the conference, like you can use the like translating device. So it's okay if even if you're not you can understand or you can speak that language. But from what I believe is that maybe we should at least learn the international language, which is the English. Although, like, yes, with the help of that technology, yes, of course, you can understand, but to communicate well, like to speak and to do the assignment, right? So it's also important to know like a language more than your native language, right? So now we are now communicating and we have like human connection with each other, right? We can understand directly, so we don't feel like a bit barrier between us because we can use like one common language, right? So if we use only the like maybe technology and only the like translating device, it may feel like we were very different from each other, although like we were communicating, right? So that's what I believe. Although like yes, it's developing and you can easily understand and you can use anytime, but it's also important that you know and you can speak, you can communicate that language, right? So in this way, maybe we can be kind of like one group, like so I think being able to speak language is also important. If even if we don't speak any language, like we might not know how to communicate with each other, right? So that's why I think that's important, although like technology is developing.
Okay, maybe I will see from the point of view of communicating with another one that would be never replaced with an AI. But if you're
Mm,
talking about learning the grammar, the writing, I think AI help us a lot to search like all of the sources for us to like learn English better. Do you
mm,
think that also?
mm. You mean that grammar, vocabulary, or
Yes,
yes?
for learning those part.
Yes, for that one, I think we can. What we yes, we should use that technology, and also like we should use like artificial intelligence, and then yes, they would help us to learn better. We like but then like what I mean is we should learn the language and that yes, with the help of the technology we can learn the like grammar, vocabulary faster and easier. And at that time, for the role of teacher it would change, right? So in the past it's like teacher is just teaching and delivering the knowledge because like there is limited resources that we can get the information. We don't have like maybe in the past it's not very easy to access to the like AI, and also maybe it's limited to the like internet connection or internet access. But nowadays it's not like that. We can easily get the information, like you said, right, very automatically and very fast. So at that time, teacher role change. It's not like teaching. It's just like facilitating. Okay, so you should do that, and yes, that is wrong, but you should focus more on that, right? It's just like instead of teaching, teacher should take the role of facilitating and also like giving feedback to have the like better learning style. I think AI can do that, although like just AI could give you like feedback like in the systematic way, but it's not the same, right? So when I think we are also very familiar with this one, although like we got the feedback from the maybe we as to like ChatGPT or Gemini, but it's very different. Like getting the feedback from that teacher and also getting being facilitated and being motivated from that from the like our lecturers, right? So I think yes, because of that technology, the way we teach and learn should be changed, right? So in the positive way, like we should then focus mostly on the like artificial intelligence. Just we ask the grammar patterns and also like vocabulary all the time, then how can we learn them, right? So we should use them, but like we should use to help us learn better. So that is what I think. Yes.
Okay, so that's when you see from point of view of the teacher. So when it comes to your point of view as an English major, do you see this AI ChatGPT is a cheat code that will kill the critical thinking?
Mm, it depends how you use it. I think a month ago I read an article. Like in that article, it said that yes, if we use there are two groups. Like one group don't use the like AI like ChatGPT, and another group they use like every day for the generating the idea. But just in the first time, maybe 1 or 2 week, the group that use artificial intelligence, right? So like ChatGPT, they perform better. So they can generate the idea more easily and they give the response fast. But a month later, their critical thinking is it case like because they use AI every day, like it case their critical thinking permanently. So they cannot think like proper way, and they couldn't generate like even the simple test. They don't know how to make the decision, and they don't think like critically like a month later, right? So that's why just if we use that like in the negative way, that we use AI just to think critically, like how can I say, we yes if for students we need to do the like projects and assignments at that time, we shouldn't ask the AI, okay, you do you do that task, and then you change a little bit and you submit that. If we do that all the time, I think that will kill our critical thinking and also like our ability to absorb the knowledge, because it's not us, right? So we're not doing that. It's just like AI doing that for me, and it will kill our productivity as well. But like if we use that, okay, I don't know that part, and you explore that on that topic, and then you generate the idea on your own, and then you adjust and adapt a little bit with the help of the AI, and then that's fine, and it's even better. That's why I think if this case the critical thinking, it depends mostly on how you use it. Maybe like yes, if you use in the like positive way, and if you use it as for the help and as for the support, I think that's totally fine. But if you use it for the whole test, I think that will have like damage on our critical thinking and like our thinking.
Yes, I actually agree with you too, because we as a student must know how to use ChatGPT wisely, also
Yeah.
how to know using it without losing our own voice. So looking back at your journey so far, you also mentioned that you have been a teacher back then. You faced a lot of change. What was the hardest part of this new academic life?
Harder is new academy like here in Indonesia.
Yeah, yeah. When you see in Myanmar and in Indonesia, the develop time is very fast. Do you have any hard part?
Mm, Academically, I don't have any challenging part, because topics and the like courses I have to take, they're much familiar with me, and I can get that concept and I can do the test well. But one thing would be like kind of age difference, because I studied back in Myanmar as well, but because of the like political thing, I couldn't graduate and I have to start here again. So there's a like age difference between the like peers, right? So that is kind of the challenge. Sometimes they are like very active, and like they are very energetic. Meanwhile, I'm not like that. I just went, why? It's not very that exciting. I just want to have like, okay, that's it. I have that mindset, like not very active, but on the other hand, they were just like younger than me, and they were they have more energy and like uh no active. Yeah, I think that would be a bit different and a bit challenging for me, like having the age difference.
Okay, I see. We talk about efficiency, being faster, being better, and being smarter. But how do we keep this joy of learning alive?
Mm, can you scaffold that a bit, because I don't get the question really well.
Maybe because right now we are learn and we answer the questions using ChatGPT. So,
Mm.
do you have like motivation words how to keep the joy of learning by yourself alive?
Yes, I think The thing is, we shouldn't learn only for the grade, right? So, yes, maybe at the university, grade and maybe, grade A, B, they are very important, right? So, to have the joint of learning, we also should have the curiosity, like not just okay, we have to do that because we need to get good grade, but we also need to think that okay, I am very curious and interested to learn that, right? So, like we discussed earlier, right, in the like affected learning 5.0 era, right? The efficiency is for like kind of machines. So that's why for people, we should focus on like our curiosity and do we really want to know that? So yes, from what I want to say, we shouldn't just think that like okay, so we need to learn only for the grade. So we also should think that okay, I really want to do that, and I want to know the new things, and I want to get the skill, and we need to have like that kind of influence or like curiosity in our mind.
I relate to that also because if we are in school just only chasing for grades, it would
Yes.
be so hard on us. You will get stressed very easy. So I think I also agree that we should have our own curiosity to learn the subject itself, to know
Mm,
what will you want to do in the future. So maybe that's the thing that will became learning is easier and happier, I think.
yes.
Okay, so finally, maybe this is the last one. Do you have any advice to our listeners to walk away with today? What would it be?
Yes. From what we said, right? So we can conclude that not just only the academic, right? So yes, that's important, grades, and then like to be master in your field. Yeah, that's very important. But we also need to consider the importance of the soft skills, right? How to be a good leader and how to be an effective communicator and how to be like more adaptable and like flexible with when we communicate with others. So that would be my key takeaway for today podcast, right? In this like effective learning era, right? So we shouldn't only focus on the like just study and having good grade, right? So we also need to give time to be more empathetic person, right? So that's why I think we also need to think about social emotional learning, which means that training the students, maybe training the teachers and training everybody to be the empathetic person, because like in this AI era, so we began like a robot, right? So instead of that, we should give time for to have like self-awareness and to have the social awareness. In this way, I think we can improve the community, and we might have sense to give and to contribute to the community. So that's why we shouldn't forget like to be the empathetic person and to improve our social intelligence and social well-being. In this way, we can balance both academic and also the like our personal life. So that would be my advice, key advice for this podcast.
Okay, that is a big note to end on. It's a reminder that even in a world of 5.0 and high technology of AI, the most important hardware is our own mindset and our connection to each other. Okay, May, thank you so much for stopping by in Ngopi Podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure hearing about your journey from Myanmar and your insight on how we can all become better learners. I'm sure the listener feeling as inspired as I am. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in episode 3. And here I'm Salwa, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.